Welcome all to another episode of the Jokatech Podcast. Here I am this week discussing some video game topics. Special treat on the show today. We have a good buddy here, Darth Guvius.
Yo.
That's right. So today we're going to just get into a couple topics that was being discussed before anyway. The video game scene. I know the last topic I talked about was video game related. This one I want to expand on. Smash Brothers in particular, I feel, is lacking in content. But some of the fighting game community personalities, I feel, are not representing themselves properly. Now, I know many of you are familiar with I don't even know if I want to mention his name.
Banjo.
But, well, yes, let's get into that. Banjo Kazooie. Now that you mentioned it. So, like you said, 15 years in the making, right? Now, that puts us, like you said, what, 2003?
Yes, 2003. Because we're in 2019, so 19 minus 16 equals...
Yeah.
2003. Yep.
Now, that was in between Melee and Brawl. Now, Banjo-Kazooie is a nice character. Don't get me wrong. His games are good. Everyone's always wanted to see the series continued. But I feel like the level of enthusiasm for him should be there for other characters that aren't in the game. Someone made a comment that, why don't we get, like a Ninja Turtle or something in the game? Or there's other mascots that could have been put in the game too. Don't get me wrong, the roster's not bad. It just is a little bit one-sided in some regards. And I have a feeling like, I like Joker's release. I think Joker was a very good character for the game. But I have a feeling that Banjo-Kazooie is going to be similar to either K. Rool or Donkey Kong. I feel like he's not going to be that unique. What are your thoughts?
My thoughts are, it's true, I agree, but I will say there are some interesting things, like his move sets are kind of interesting, the way he can do the double jump, which is interesting, I thought.
When you say double jump, you mean he has more jumps than the average person? Because everybody has a double jump in the game.
I think so, yeah, the one where he...
I imagine he would have more than the regular jumps, though, because of his abilities in his game. Right. Because of that bird, that's true. That makes sense. You've seen some of his attack setups and stuff? Because I really haven't seen too much of that.
Yeah. I've seen it in the trailer and some of the reactions. Let's see. I thought which was interesting was that they gave him a run movement, which was him letting the Kazooie allow Banjo to be on her back and allow her to run through the stage. I thought that was an interesting concept.
That is actually interesting, yeah.
Because it's almost like a mixture of almost like if the Mii Swordsman with his slash, like when he parries forward, but it's just like he's not stopping, he's going back and forth, which is actually kind of interesting, which would mean that the characters on the thing would actually the characters that are on there could actually get impaled by her beak and cause damage as well, which is actually very interesting. Oh,
that is interesting.
Because
I never would have even thought of that.
Because I'm pulling up the trailer right now, and I'm looking at the movesets, and the movesets are really interesting.
Now, what I wonder is how accurate... Okay.
Now,
I see that.
We saw...
He has some nice projectile-looking stuff, which, I assumed he would have that anyway. Banjo-Kazooie is a game that I always liked the game. I never got a chance to finish the games that came out.
And I mean,
he does look a little more nimble than Donkey Kong, which I do like.
Yeah, and he looks, and I'm not gonna.
Don't get me wrong. I'm not totally against the character.
He looks pretty good.
He does look decent. I mean, I would like to see some other characters too. Hopefully, more interesting, more diverse characters before it's all said and done. Because I think we're gonna get 3 more characters before they start releasing characters.
Because
2 or 3, I don't know.
We'll actually get one more because you have to remember they released Banjo and they released Dragon's Quest.
That's right. We are getting Dragon's Quest as well, which looks interesting. A lot of people were ragging on that, but I actually do like the Dragon Quest character setup because you get a lot of variety there too. Now, with that said, back to the mode issue. The only mode we've gotten now is Stage Builder, and I think we got some stupid amiibo type mode where you can like send your amiibo out on an adventure. You don't control any of it. I don't think you even see any of it. It's supposed to help build your amiibo. To me, we need to have a solid mode in the game.
Yes.
That, I mean, if you're not going to redo adventure mode, fine. Because I don't hate the adventure mode that's in Ultimate.
Right.
But at least give us like a gauntlet or survival mode that allows us to, some type of mode where it's like a cruel melee setup, but it's one-on-ones that allows you to work on some of the mechanics, either a trial mode or a survival mode.
Right.
Because like Zero has his pro guides website that he has set up where if you go there and you pay him money, he'll teach you a lot of the different mechanics of the game and different scenarios and setups, which that's cool that he's making money off of that. But the game should have something intrinsically that allows you to work on those type of nuances and mechanics in the game.
Right.
The classic mode, too short, too easy. Adventure mode, too long and repetitive, and you don't have the full roster available to you in the beginning. Then you have multi-man melee. It's not one-on-one. The computer's OP, so you really can't work on mechanics. You're just trying to find a way to get cheap KOs in order to set an achievement. There's no mode in the game that allows you to play a gauntlet of matches that are high-level matches that are very difficult where you can work on different mechanics in the game.
Yeah.
That game, that's sorely missing. And with each of the main characters, I'm told that with each main release, we get new modes. That's been sort of true, but the stage build is not bad. But we should get a good mode released with Banjo-Kazooie.
Exactly. Even though we got a new addition or a new stage, which is Spiral Mountain, which does look interesting. And I don't know if they're gonna put that in the adventure mode or classic mode or in the stage mode. Because the way I was looking in the trailer, it looked like when Petey Piranha and all of them were on the mountain, it looked like almost like an adventure mode, almost like you could actually play with Banjo-Kazooie and run around free, roam around the area. Like,
see, that's the funny thing. That's what's so interesting to me. We have so many promo videos like that where it looks like a full blown level, and you have so many stages. The game has over 100 and something stages. It blows my mind that Nintendo wouldn't think to make some means of like a free flowing adventure mode to take advantage of that.
It's like come on, Nintendo, you've been doing this for like 50 years or some change now. You could at least have some creativity like you had in the past.
That's what I don't get. You have all the tools there. This game has better AI than any Smash Brothers.
Right.
This game has more stages and characters than any Smash Brothers.
And the graphics,
but yet it uses all that less.
Right. And don't even get me started on the graphics. The graphics look perfect, and they look wonderful.
I mean, take advantage of it. Give us some type of a mode. Even if, we don't, I've heard people say, well, we don't want to, it would be too much work for Nintendo to put together a mode with so many characters, to incorporate all of that would require so much work.
Yeah.
That's a cheap excuse. Even if you don't want to do a dedicated, full-blown, like a saga or story mode where you put a lot of cutscenes into it, you could still do a Smash Run kind of mode.
Right.
Where you have randomized stages and somebody, or I shouldn't say stages, where you have a large randomized map. Because I don't know if you played Smash Mode on the 3DS. I don't know if you played that one.
No.
But it's an open world where you could go through. There's several doors and areas that you could go through. It has like a 3 or 6 minute time limit, and so you're playing against other CPUs, and within that time limit, you're going through a huge, massive world with bosses, different areas, different environments, and different like obstacles and puzzles to get through.
Right.
And you're trying to get points and find items in that world before the time's up. And then when the time's up, whatever you've gathered pads onto your stats, and then you have a final battle with the 4 people, or like a random stage with the 4 people, like either a race to the finish,
Right.
or some type of a random type party mode with the 4 players after the time limit's up. That's ingenious.
Yes.
Even Brawlout, which is another game that came out for the Switch, they put a mode like that in their game because they recognize that it adds to the value of the game. And that game came out when the Switch launched, and Smash Brothers still has yet to do that.
Yeah, and the crazy thing is that I could understand why they wouldn't do it for Ultimate Smash because it's almost repetitive. But still, you still could have done that, and it still would have got people.
I don't know if I think it's repetitive. I think if they did it, no one's going to see it as that because Smash Brothers has totally different mechanics from Brawlout, and it's really a unique game in that in the roster.
True.
And so, I mean, if they did something like that, I believe people will play it a lot more because right now, you play it to go online, but to be honest with you, the online is getting to a point where I'm really about to cancel online because first of all, I really don't like the fact that you charge money for it and you pay frequently to play online.
Really?
Yeah, you pay online for the Switch now.
Wow.
And I'm seeing that bill every like month or two, and I'm like, okay, how much do I want to continue to put up with this to go on just so I can go online and play a horrible online system, which they still have yet to fix? Matchmaking is as bad as ever. The last 2 patches that we got said that they improved matchmaking, but I go online and it's worse than ever. Worse than ever. So what improvements are you guys doing to that mode? And then, you don't have friendly matches really. All you have are Battle Lounge and rank matches. So now I go online and it's either I set up a lounge and I got to wait in between matches, or I do quick play and I got to put my points on the line against a bunch of derps online.
Which is sad.
So I'm not feeling that.
Yeah.
That's why, like I said, an offline mode would be perfect.
Yeah.
Some type of trial mode. Like I've mentioned in the past, like Street Fighter V has, not only does it have arcade modes, but it has survival mode, 3 different tiers. It has one that's 30 matches, one that's 50, one that's 100 matches. I can go on and start playing that mode and get myself warmed up so that when I go online, I'm not cold. I'm not just playing somebody and caught off guard by different tactics that they're using because I've just been playing a difficult computer. Smash doesn't have that. They need to put a mode like that in the game. I don't understand why they don't get that yet. The classic mode that we have now is trash compared to the last one. And what blows my mind is that a lot of people are saying, well, the classic mode that was in Smash 4 was horrible because it was too long and it was too convoluted. I'm like, what are you talking about? That mode was perfect. That was perfect. You had branching paths. You could choose the different type of opponent that you were going to face in between matches. And the difficulty level, you got a chance to actually experience it. The classic mode we have now has a meter that goes from 0. I'm sorry, it goes from like 2 or 3 point something to 9.9 something. You can only pull the meter up to 5. That's the highest they let you go. And each match you play, the most you can increase the difficulty is by 0.8. So you have 6 stages in classic mode now. One of them is a gold rush mode, which is totally stupid and useless. So by the time you get to the end of the game, your difficulty level is just getting to decent. So you may have one match where the computer is actually decent difficulty-wise, then the mode's over. So what good is the difficulty meter? So they've got to fix that. I hope they put another mode in with Banjo-Kazooie and Dragon's Quest.
Speaking of Banjo-Kazooie, when I'm thinking of some movesets, he did this moveset in this scene where he came forward, but then when he jumped back and the Kazooie attack the opponent from behind. Now that is very interesting because I don't think some characters can do that, because that's kind of like a really interesting feature to Banjo-Kazooie. And
I would like to see that,
because it's like
of course we got to see the frame data on all this, because all this seems nice, but is it going to be effective in high level competition, or is he going to be a character that's recovery state is so horrible?
And also, I recognize is that Banjo-Kazooie has 2 modes of shooting projectiles, like from his.
I do like his back air.
Yeah, his back air.
I do like that,
which is very interesting. And then I like how he can do 2 modes of shooting.
Oh yeah, I see that.
And shooting it like a gun, which is actually very interesting. And I think I like his
I do like his setup. I like the way he's designed.
And I do like his taunts. His taunts are interesting. That's what I was talking about before. We're watching Spiral Mountain and everything else, the new level layer design. And now, I think for his final smash, I can agree it's kind of lame. But,
as they tend to be.
Yeah, as it tends to be. But, I mean, they could have done something better. And I like how they have...
he has some promise to him.
Yeah, some promise. Some.
I like what I see in the Dragon's Quest Warriors. I do like what I see there. I just really hope that we get some more modes, though. I mean, this is crazy.
Yeah. But one thing I really want to emphasize in this video is not just Banjo-Kazooie, but the brokenness in Smash.
Oh, absolutely. Thank you for bringing that up.
Like, the brokenness in Smash, like, is crazy. Like, I'll give you an example.
They've got to fix the lag and latency. Absolutely.
The lag. I was playing with Mii Brawler. Now, he's good. I'm not gonna be wrong here, but he was good, but he lags just a little bit. They could do a little improvement on that.
Do you think he's better in Ultimate?
He's better in Ultimate. Because for me, I don't have a Switch. I have a Wii U, and I play Smash 4 on there. And the comparison, I will say this, is that all the Mii fighter swords and gunmen are much better in Ultimate Smash. They're very much better. And I like the Mii.
I definitely do. Definitely for Gunner, absolutely.
I wish they had like suplex for number 4, because suplex is actually really good. But it's just that afterwards it's like you do your suplex in the air to get back on the platform, but you can't jump afterwards. Once you do the suplex move, you're done, and then you have to take the L on that one. And another thing that gets me is Mii Swordsman. That is one character that has a lot of lag and a lot of slowness to it, which I think they could improve.
But I agree with you. But I will say there is some cheapness to some setups for Wii Swordsman, because Wii Swordsman gets a few young Link setups.
Right.
And moves that make it very difficult to deal with him in the air. And I've been derped out by a few, maybe because of the characters that I'm using, but I've been derped out by a few Mii Swordsmen.
Yeah. And for me, I think, I don't know, I mean, it's pretty good. But the Mii Gunner,
I love Mii Gunner.
Mii Gunner is actually really
Mii Gunner's
good.
become my favorite character in the game. Absolutely, hands down.
For him, it's really good. He does phenomenal. It's amazing. He does phenomenal with Mii Gunner. It's really good what he does. I mean,
but the derpness, I agree. I've seen people do some stuff online. The cheapness, you're 100% right. I mean, the character disparity in Smash is ridiculous.
Yeah. For example, it's like why is one character or one person being hold hostage in the air, like he's almost freezing for the other opponent to get his attack on him.
Yep. Some people have several actions within your one action.
Yeah, like why is that happening? That's not fair. That shouldn't happen. That's another glitch.
And there needs to be a trade-off, because if somebody can go out and carry me off the stage for combo kills off the edge, and then recover all the way back that person should be easy to launch. Some of these characters like Jigglypuff have been made, in my opinion, a little bit heavier. Snake has way too good recovery. For somebody as deadly as Snake is, he should not have that kind of recovery and be that heavy. Exactly. He's way too heavy. So he gets excess chances to survive. Like Ridley's heavy, but at least Ridley really doesn't have the same recovery as Snake.
Right.
But Snake has ridiculous recovery and he's heavy. But I will admit that he's a little awkward to use, so it is what it is. But they definitely could balance the game a little bit more. Yeah. I like the fact that they made Mac a little bit better. They did some improvements to him.
I like it. I haven't seen a Smash, but I think I have him in 4. But the way they do it in 5 is really cool. Like I really liked because I will admit I was getting bodied in a couple of matches, and when this guy did this what did he do? He did the smash with Mac where he turns to Giga Mac. That was the coolest thing I ever seen. I was like, man, that's really interesting. I was like, at least they got something right with Mac. But
honestly, a lot of people have given up on Mac, but I still think he's actually a viable character.
Yeah.
I still play Mac. I mean, I don't play him recently, but I still play Mac.
Yeah. Speaking of brokenness, most of the characters that are on the roster are very broken. Like there are so many on the list. Like I cannot emphasize that Ridley is one of another broken character. Like how is it fair for him to grab you and then drag you off the stage and then do his smash on you while
Ridley
you're
is broken. He is very broken. Ridley is extremely broken.
Yeah.
You know what though? Really stopped bothering me the same. I agree he's very broken and he's very annoying, but he has a couple of weaknesses though that once you kind of learn how to exploit them a little bit. Because one thing about Ridley, his recovery state is very long. Mm-hmm. See, this is the thing. Mm-hmm. You have to study the frame data on fighting games these days, because it's funny because I come from the old school era, back in the late 90s, early 2000s, the CVS2s, Marvel vs. Capcom, Street Fighter Alpha, that era. Frame data existed, but we never talked about it. Nobody ever studied frame data because it was a more neutral playing field. But now in games, you have so many broken mechanics and so many characters that have broken moves. You have to study frame data now, and you have to be aware of it because you have to learn what you can exploit. And because it used to be a given, certain like anti-airs, and even when you compare Melee, and Smash Ultimate, back air setups were so much different. Like I was saying the other day, you had the ability to play at a more honest pace. Like remember I was showing you that video with Zero was playing the Melee Legend.
Yeah.
You saw the speeds they were playing at.
Yeah.
Back in Melee was a fast game, but at the same time that it was fast, it was played slower than Ultimate because everything was more honest. Everything had more honest recovery.
Yeah.
So you could fake somebody and shimmy them into a back air, or set them up for throw loops or dash attacks into combinations or shield grabs. You could do a lot more that's safer. It was kind of more of a exchange, me than you, and what you select accordingly what move you want to do, what's your safe option. Whereas now, everything is punishable with something.
Right.
So you can't play an honest game. You can't play an honest game the same now.
Yeah. Like for instance, Snake, he punished himself. He punished himself like really badly. Like with his I think with grenades or something.
I'm glad that his grenades punish him though, because he's a dirty character.
Yeah. Anybody who's playing Snake is a dirty person and a dirty character.
Thank you.
And a cheat.
Anybody playing Snake needs to get rocked.
Why don't you meditate on that?
Meditate on that.
Then come back to us.
But yeah, like in regards to that, the person another person that I was talking about whose channel I watched, and I'll put in the title, low tier guy.
File for raid.